Hi, everybody, and welcome to Digital Champions. I'm your host, Charlene Shirk, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the digital space. Joining us today is Chris Davis with Revcarto. Chris, thanks so much for joining us today on Digital Champions.
Hey.
So, Chris, break down Revcarto for us.
Yeah, so my co-founder came up with this brilliant name for us. When we first started, our goal was to align companies' buyer journeys, and essentially marry everything to revenue. I feel like there's not enough like emphasis on just driving revenue, and a lot of people will focus on just driving leads, but not converting those leads and turning everything into revenue. And a lot of different departments are on different pages. So that's where the rev part came from. And then since we're mapping people's journeys, Carto is for cartographer, which is a map maker. So it's revenue map makers.
Yeah, if you've ever watched National Treasure, you know that. Come on, it's popular vernacular. Right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So let's talk about when you're focused on driving this revenue. Then what approach are you taking uniquely to Revcarto that is really saying this is how we get to the revenue point?
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is just simple reporting and the way people make decisions. I think a lot of decisions are typically made off of just a spur of the moment feeling that someone has or a hunch. And we like to do everything based on data and tons of A/B testing. So we kind of run tests like every day, I'd say, and for our clients too. We're always trying to see what works best, because if you're making a decision on something and there's no data behind it, you're literally just shooting an arrow with no target. So just setting the right goals and just having everyone's reporting proper and make sure everyone's KPIs are aligned, so there's no conflicts of interest. If a salesperson's super focused on their commission, they're not really going to care about leads or anything being driven. They just want to close their deal so they can make their money. So it's just having KPIs that kind of go across divisions, so everyone is aiming to help the company drive revenue versus helping themselves, or even being overworked. I feel like a lot of KPIs are like not really fair for some positions. Definitely in marketing, they kind of get a not the best end of the stick. So I think making sure everyone has their fair share of credit and no one's being overworked across marketing and sales is usually the main disconnect.
And so let me ask you this: being data driven, which I love data, I love the numbers, I love what data can tell us as marketers. But there's going to be changes in our access to data through certain platforms. So how are you preparing for those changes and the evolution of that? Like, how are you going to take from, we can use this platform to see the data, to, now that's going to limit us?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, so we're actually HubSpot partners. So HubSpot typically comes out with a good amount of documentation, and we track ourselves, like what changes are being updated. iOS just had one change to email. So just kind of ramping up ahead of time and just making sure we stay up on trends. A lot of the data, I guess compliance that has been coming out hasn't been detrimental, but it has been a lot stricter over time, especially for advertising. So I think just making sure that we're staying on top of what's being changed is usually what we try and do to, mitigate any type of risk with it. But yeah, a lot of it is really just shifting our strategy. And we're a small team too, which is good. So we're able to pivot really easily and move fast. So a lot of times if something detrimental was to change, we're able to easily pivot. It just, takes a little bit of a tweak in strategy. But luckily for us, I think a lot of platforms usually announce well ahead of time whenever they're going to change anything that's going to affect advertisers or people using the platform typically.
And then talk to me a little bit about what's your $1 million tip. I corner you at some event, some networking event. You tell me what you do, and I'm like, great, I own a company, and I got a lot of engagement, but I'm not closing my deals. What would your $1 million tip be to me?
My $1 million tip would be to not forget about content the further you get down the funnel. I feel like everyone thinks of, that's what I think we're really good at, is content marketing in general and content strategy. I think a lot of people think content is only for top of funnel and for marketing, but we like to also focus on content when it comes to the sales process. Do they have that's all content. Are they, using the case studies that they have access to? And, a lot of that comes with sales enablement. But I think giving, salespeople the right content at the right time will also help convert deals. And a lot of people forget about, just how much content they have at their disposal once it gets, past that marketing phase. And yeah, I think it helps a lot with closing deals, especially video. A lot of salespeople are now starting to use more video to close deals and kind of prospect better. But I think yeah, using content of any type throughout the entire funnel, I think will help a lot of companies versus just focusing on it with top of funnel.
I love it. That's a great perspective. Well, Chris, we're going to leave it there with you. Thanks so much for taking your time today to be on Digital Champions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Arlene. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And if you'd like to check out Chris Davis and what they're doing at Revcarto, you can check them out at dailyadbrief.com. And thanks so much for joining us today. Hope you learned something new. We always do. I'm your host, Charlene Shirk, and we'll see you next time.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.